Within next few days, Jimin was the one who had to struggle the most because it was very hard for him to get a hold of Taehyung as Taehyung kept ignoring everyone for some days. And Jimin already got to know via some close friends of JK that JK had left for America as a result of the scholarship program which held few months ago, and the fact that JK had agreed to accept the foreign university scholarship even after submitting an appeal to convert it to a local university scholarship. Jimin felt so sorry for his bestie. He knew things went too far up to a distance they can't make it right like before, and at the moment all he could do was to console his best friend to free himself from the guilt he was feeling. Taeyang was feeling so hurt and was feeling too much guilt, but it wasn't because he loved Jungkook or something, but due to the guilt he was feeling, because he was badly regretting treating Jungkook like that. The way he used to bully and treat Jungkook made him regret more than the recent encounter of them where he insulted JK. He even felt ashamed of himself to face Sohee too. All this time, Jimin gave a huge support to Taeyang to console himself, being the most supportive best friend. Slowly, time passed as the things started to change. Jimin started to feel a significant change in Taeyang. It's not like Taeyang had got rumorized and changed his personality, but Taeyang's interest towards boys, girls, or relationships had disappeared in thin air, like he wasn't interested in anyone anymore, and he even had stopped teasing his fangirls and fanboys, giving fake hopes. And other than this, something more caught Jimin's attention. That is, he noticed how Taeyang had started to talk about Jungkook almost all the times and how eager he was to find any information about JK even though they couldn't find any. But time goes, Jimin understood Taeyang was slowly falling in love with Jungkook even though Jungkook was nowhere near him. And Jimin was absolutely correct because Taeyang had fallen in love with Jungkook, and it wasn't because of the guilt but because of the way Jungkook used to treat him. Especially his confession and the moment they shared with each other had got stuck in Taeyang's head. 2 years passed. One day something unexpected happened which broke Taeyang's heart. That was after completing university, now Jungkook was going to settle down in America with Sohee, running his own business which he started recently. And when he heard Sohee is going to America to stay with JK, Taeyong knew he lost all the chances he had because he knew once Sohee went away, Jungkook wouldn't have a reason to come back to Korea. It's not like Jungkook would just forget about Mr. and Mrs. Kim, who treated him like their own child, but they knew it wouldn't make JK to visit Korea as Mr. and Mrs. Kim always used to visit and spend time with Jungkook whenever they went on business trips to America. The day Sohee went off, Taeyong couldn't hold his tears anymore because first JK left him and now Sohee was leaving him, whom he used to love, same as his mother, from childhood, even though she was supposed to be a servant in Kim Mansion. Mr. and Mrs. Kim felt so bad for Tae as they kept consoling him, hugging him, thinking how much they had loved Sohee, but they didn't know the fact that he will never be able to meet Jungkook was the thing which was hurting Tae up to the core, more than Sohee leaving him. Of course, Mr. and Mrs. Kim kept contact with Jungkook and Sohee almost all the time. And Taeyang knew Jungkook used to call Mr. and Mrs. Kim definitely every week, but Taeyang didn't have courage to talk at least a single word about Jungkook in front of Mr. and Mrs. Kim as he used to treat Jungkook badly before, and he knew Mr. and Mrs. Kim would definitely find it odd if he ever bring up any topic about Jungkook. Later, Taeyang found out that the business Jungkook started was a fashion company and Mr. Kim also had helped him to raise the capital to start the business after insisting so many times as Jungkook hadn't been ready to accept any more help from Mr. and Mrs. Kim even after the huge support they had given to him throughout years. Taeyang studied business as he was the heir of the father's business, but as the time goes, due to Taeyang's captivating divine beauty, he got invitations for photo shoots and for the promotion shoots of brands, which affected to deviate his career from business field towards modeling field. It wasn't hard for him to captivate the entire modeling field in South Korea within a short period of time. Due to his undeniably attractive ramp walk, more and more days passed as Taehyung's beauty got increased more and more each passing day. His beautiful face and the feminine body attracted almost all the top level businessmen in Korea, giving headaches to Mr. and Mrs. Kim due to the uncountable marriage proposals he was receiving. But Taeyang wasn't interested in anyone at all because still his heart was fully occupied by that certain particular handsome bunny boy whom he always used to pick fights with. 2 more years passed like a blink of an eye, and Jungkook's hard work had already paid off as his fashion company, which he started very small, had already reached the top level fashion industry, crowning himself as the emperor of Jeon Industries, grabbing worldwide attention. No one could believe how Jungkook was able to build his small company to Jeon Industries, which had now become a huge brand name worldwide. The main reason behind Jungkook choosing his father's surname for his company name Jeon Industries, the range he had towards his father, who abandoned him and so and he wanted to become the ultimate recognizer of his bloodline, Jeon's, making his father regret his life decisions. Within these 4 years, Jungkook always used to busy himself with work, and then again work, as he wanted to get rid of his feelings towards Taeyang. But within these 4 years, nothing changed other than him starting to miss Taeyang more and more every time, which kind of made him to hate himself as he couldn't get Taeyang out of his mind. Of course, Jungkook had already knew Taeyong is a model now, but despite of the things he hear from others about Tae, he didn't try to search nor keep an eye on Taeyang, which was definitely very hard for him. But still, for the sake of the promise he made to Taeyang to not to meet him again, and due to the rage of his broken heart, Jungkook somehow controlled himself. And about the other people from whom he heard about Tae, I mean not other people actually, because it was specifically just one person who used to irritate Jungkook to the core by teasing JK with Tae's name, randomly telling JK about the updates of Tae, even though he never asked for it. And it was none other than JK's best friend Suga, who had been friends with JK since he entered his new university in America, later joining him in the company also. Jungkook was peacefully checking some files at his office cabin when Suga entered, making himself comfortably placed on the sofa at the front, scrolling through his mobile while Jungkook continued to do his work being unbothered. Suga, hey Jungkooka, he said while scrolling through the mobile with a smirk plastered on his face. JK, he hummed while still focusing on the files. Suga, did you see Jungkooka? Your Taeyang was so gorgeous on the red carpet. He said eyeing JK, obviously knowing that JK gets jealous when he compliments Tae. JK, oh come on. Not again, Suga. Don't you have anything else to do? Suga, yep, I have, and that is annoying you. He said, showing a grumpy smile, making JK facepalm himself. JK signed. Suga, how can you act like a ice cube like this when Taeyang being so hot like lava, gosh? JK, you know, Suga, it doesn't matter anymore, and no matter how much you try to ignite me, I've buried all my emotions so deep down, up to a distance that Taeyang himself can't dig them out. So stop trying to manipulate me or to encourage me to go back to him, because it's not going to work, he said as he went to the washroom after signing so hard. Suga also signed as he continued to mind his own business. Suga knew each and every little detail about TAEKOOK, and he knew no matter how cold and arrogant Jungkook tries to be, deep down still he is madly in love with Tae. That's why he always tried to make JK to go back to Taehyung. But JK's ego was so high and it wasn't ready to lower his pride, begging for love in front of Tae, not even after all these things which happened between them. Jungkook had become so handsome like a Greek god. The piercings and the tattoos he had gave him a mafia vibe, giving him an attractive yet dangerous aura. And there were many girls and boys who were trying so hard to even get a glimpse of the CEO, even though the CEO wasn't ready to even to spare a glance at any of them. And all Suga could do was to feel sorry for those girls and boys, as the ruled of God was already enchanted by a beauty since the very beginning. And no matter how much JK ignored Suga's tricks, something more interesting was playing in Suga's mind. On the other hand, Taeyang earned the first place in the largest Fashion Week festival, like always, establishing his place as the best model once again. But he never knew the reward of this achievement would be able to change his life like he never expected in his life too. Because according to the rules, the best model has to do a collaboration with the biggest sponsor of the fashion festival, which was none other than Gion Industries, which obviously was a plan of Suga. And once Taeyong got to know about this collaboration, he was determined to win the fashion festival as he would be able to go near Jungkook once again. Meanwhile, Jungkook on the other hand was clueless and didn't have any idea of this collaboration thing as Suga was the one who was dealing with sponsorships. Taeyong took a deep breath as he came down from the stage as he whispered to himself, Tae, I'm coming Jungkook.